Hello and welcome to another episode of Shopping for the Real You. I'm Andrea Farmer, the author of Shopping for the Real You, and I am so thrilled today because my guest is Suzanne Blons, and I asked her to be a part of this 31-day self-care reset because I follow her on another site that I follow, which is 60andMe, and she did the most fantastic interview and information about self-care and about beauty, and I just loved it. So I trolled her and I found her online at thebeautyshaman.com. So she has agreed to be with us today to talk with us about beauty and skincare. Suzanne Blons is an esthetician. She has a fantastic YouTube page. Is it called The Beauty Shaman?
It is. Everything across the board is The Beauty Shaman. So my YouTube, my websites, all social media, everything is The Beauty Shaman. So it's easy.
And this is fantastic. Okay, so let's just launch right into it. You know, so many of my readers ask me constantly about sagging skin because my demographic is a little older, and you know, here's where it shows up. So I would love you to talk with us a little bit about improving the skin's elasticity, and how do we go about that, through what areas?
It's such a great question. It's such a common question. And so I don't know how different we are. I'm 55. So I'm slightly under the 60andMe, you know, the 60, but I'm still this is a big topic because right when you hit your 50s and 60s, like, you know, 70s, like it just kind of all starts to slide, right? Everything starts to go south. And I always joke that we want everything to go north, you know, like our boobs, we want everything to go north as much as humanly possible. So yeah, it's a great question. And I'm a makeup artist, so I have older women sit in my chair all the time. And it is the number one thing that they sit down and they're like, what do we do? So yeah, so what I want to talk about is kind of my steps that I take. And I really think these are just great basics. Like I really want to give the audience, you and the audience, just all of you ladies out there, just basics, right? To go, this is what I can launch off of to have, to really take care of my skin. And some people are already doing some of these, and some, this will be new information, but I want to keep it as doable. Like I think we have to have things that we're like, oh yeah, I can do that. And I try to also keep it not too expensive. Like, I mean, there are expensive things that I'm going to talk about, but I want to keep it so that it's like the average woman can go out and do these things. So, I mean, and interrupt me as I go, you know, like, I just like love talking about this stuff. It's my soapbox. So I'm like, I can just go. So please feel free to interrupt me as I go along. But, you know, the number one thing when it comes to aging and aging well, and by the way, I'm not into Botox or fillers, and that's fine if somebody else is. I don't pass judgment. Most of the women I do makeup on are, so I don't, you know, it's to each his own. But for me, I really try to rely on homeopathic or natural, or and I'll talk about some other devices that I use, and there's different ways I go about it, right? But I really try to avoid toxicity in my skincare and everything I do. For the most part, I have my moments, but anyway, the first thing I would talk about is really taking care of your inner health. I mean, skin health is physical body health, and we all sort of intrinsically know this. When someone sits in my chair, I can look at their skin and go, oh, they have some liver problems, or wow, they're having hormonal issues, or like it's all on the skin. The skin is the canary in the coal mine. And so you can't say I have perfect health, but my skin is terrible. It doesn't really work that way. Our skin also responds directly to our gut. So if our gut health is really good, and our nutritional input that we're giving ourselves is really good, you'll see it immediately on your skin. It's a diametric thing. So having said that, I really focus on, and I always encourage women to focus on what you eat, right? It is the number one thing, is what you eat, what you're actually putting in your body. And I think too quickly we reach for, oh, I'm going to use this cream, you know, and it's going to change everything. And we're kind of sold that bag of, you know, doo-doo, for lack of a better word for it. It's not true. Okay. And that's what the skincare companies, this is what they want us to think, right? That's why they put a 12-year-old selling anti-aging cream in their advertisements, which always makes me laugh. But you know, we really want to they're not right, right? What you start with is the internal. Internal is 80%. External is 20%. It's 80%. I mean, have you heard that? I mean, most people don't know that. I mean, it's epic, right? It's really epic. That's the majority of what we're doing. And so often we do the opposite. I mean, both are important, but 80%. So in starting with the internal, I really recommend organic food. It is more expensive. I know it. And right now we're in the middle of an inflation. Inflation's going up. So my food bills have gone up. Everyone's food bills have gone up. I will look at skin as for me, it's a very high value item, health and skin, very high value. And so I go ahead and put my money into that. Now, I know other people that would never spend the money I spend on organic food. They'd be like, you're crazy, lady. But I do, it makes a difference. I feel great, right? This is what we're always going for. And then really keeping away from anything processed. Anything processed. Now and again, I go ahead and have a cookie, that I didn't make. I mean, I'm not one of these police. So it's like, no, don't you, I drink caffeine. I'm I'm normal. I want to live a normal life. I'm not one of these freaky people. On the other hand, the more you can get off of preservatives, additives, anything that's not from the ground or from an animal directly, if you eat meat, then as much as possible, cut it out of your diet. It will make a dramatic change. There's just no two ways about it. And the second thing I would do is really to add vitamins and supplements into your diet. Now there's a whole slew, let me ask you, do you take vitamins? I'm sure you probably do.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to, right? As you get older, you really have to get serious about vitamins. If you're not before you hit your 50s, it's like you get really serious about it after, for sure. So I would say the number one, let me have you guess here before I hold it up. But what do you think is the number one vitamin? Number one nutritional supplement that older women need to look at?
Vitamin E?
Close. That's in the top 10 for sure, right? But the number one is vitamin C. So this is the brand I use. This isn't you don't have to use this brand. This just
I love Now products.
I love Now products. I have a lot of Now products. I also have a naturopath. So I'm a little bit, I'm really into all this, right? But this is really good. This is 1,000 milligrams. I was doing a woman's makeup who was going on camera, and she was late 50s probably. And she said, oh, I take one a day of 1,000 milligrams. I was like, no, take 4, 2 in the morning and 2 at night. I can never remember to take a midday. So I always do just morning and night. So that's what I would do is start with that. If your body doesn't need it, it gets rid of it. It eliminates it. You cannot overdo the vitamin C.
That's the thing about vitamin C, is that it's not going to harm you if you take too much.
Absolutely. And your body doesn't make it. So you have to take it externally. And an orange, you have to eat 25 oranges a day in order to get anywhere near 1,000 milligrams. So that's why just get a supplement, take it, and don't rely on. I had a woman email me well, I take a multivitamin. I'm like, throw out the multivitamin. There's not enough. It's not concentrated enough. You need to take individual vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin B, D, whatever you need is an individual. You don't mix, right? It dilutes it.
I totally agree with what you just said.
Totally agree, right? Yeah, we know. So the second thing I would say, and I'm going to try to move through this a little faster. I get a little chatty. So this is omega-369s. So these are essential fatty acids. And this is borage, flaxseed, and fish oils. So they're essential because if you don't take them, if you don't have it, you will die. That's what that means, is essential. And I cannot stress this enough. So this is 1,200 milligrams per gel tab. And on the directions, it says take 2 a day, that's for anybody under the age of 50. That's fine. Over 50, or when you're menopausal, let me put it that way, before, during, after menopause, I would say double that. So I take 2 in the morning and 2 at night. I live in a very dry climate in Colorado. And honestly, I wake up in the morning and I have oil on my forehead. Not right now, because I just put powder on. But I'm like, even so, I still have oil, and that's from this. And I also take E and A, which are also really important. And I also take, I take extra flaxseed oil. This is because it's so important. I take a liquid form of this. I put it in my breakfast food or on a salad, whatever. I do about 1 to 2 tablespoons of this a day, whatever I can sort of manage. That makes a big difference as well. Just adding more of that flaxseed oil. So as we age, man, these things are huge. And I do want to toss in a vitamin D here. So this is a sublingual, it's a liquid vitamin D. And the reason I bring this up is because of the big, right? We're in the middle of, we've been in the middle of COVID for way too long. And we need our vitamin D. And I would say this is, see, I wrote down the quantity here. Maybe I didn't. I don't have my glasses. I want to say it's 1,000 UI or IU. I think it's 1,000 IU per dropper. And I would do 2 of these a day. And this will not only help your skin, this is huge for immune health.
Absolutely.
Huge. And we, as older women, man, and right now, especially, it's all about building your own immunity, right? The other thing I would say, and this is the last internal thing I'm going to hold up here with my show and tell, is Beauty in the Broth. So this is actually bone broth. So I like this brand. That's why I'm holding it up. But if you can find bone broth where you are, or if you want to make your own, I made my own one time. It was so nasty. I was like, okay, not going to make my own anymore. It was terrible. I have to work at it a little harder, I think. In any case, this is beautiful. It's a concentrate. And all you do is like mix it with hot water and drink it. It's so delicious, A. And then B, when it comes in the mail, which is great. Like I just get big boxes of it and like just down it for lunch every day like that with a little bit of protein and maybe a couple of veggies. It's delicious, but it really helps to build collagen. And collagen is the friend of youth, right? You want to build your collagen. You want to build the connective tissues. Now, I don't want to be young again. I really love my age. I welcome aging. I'm super positive about getting older, about things saying. I actually look in the mirror and I think, I tell myself, you look great. You're awesome. Like I very try to be super positive. Now and again, I'm like, oh man, no sleep. But I think being positive is a part of this. But having said that, collagen and building that connective tissue through your diet and through nutritional supplements is enormous. So, okay, so let's move. Do you have any questions or shall I go ahead and?
Well, I'm just loving this so much. I had my bone broth this morning.
Oh, did you? Awesome.
with additional collagen supplement. And yes, okay, so this, I'm just loving every bit of this. Okay, so let's go on.
Okay, so that's one. Now I didn't throw in spring water, so not tap water, unless you have what do you call it, well water. If you don't have, and even sometimes that can have stuff in it. I would say, unfortunately, you really do need to buy spring water. That makes, I mean, if you start drinking, you know, I drink 64 ounces a day because I'm weird and I'm running to the toilet all day long, but that hydrates so much. It's so important. And staying away from caffeine, but of course I don't follow my own advice. In any case, but I'm, like I say, I'm human, I'm fun. I like to have cookies now and again. All right. So let's move on to external. Okay. That was internal. External. So the big key component here with external is building the connective tissue. That is the key component that we're looking for. So you're looking for skincare that is really, really concentrated with active ingredients. Okay. So what I've heard so many times is women come to me and they say, I got this skincare. I haven't noticed that big of a difference. What do you think? Now I am a reader of ingredients, and I have a whole dictionary on ingredients. That's how much of a little nerdy person with this stuff. So the number one ingredient that you're looking for when it comes to building your skin externally is exactly the same as building your body internally, and that is vitamin C, which you need the right kind of vitamin C. So I actually had to write this down because this word escapes me all the time, and I'm always struggling with this word. And I thought I wrote it down right here. Hold on. I'm sorry. We might have to edit this moment because now I can't find it. Here it is. Okay. All right. So the vitamin C you're looking for is, and it needs to be, it's ascorbic acid is the technical name. It's a fatty acid, but the type of vitamin C that you are looking for, the best type of vitamin C that you want in your skincare is called, and I'm going to say this a couple of times so everybody can maybe jot it down or whatever it's called, ascorbyl tetra isopalmitate. So that is premium vitamin C. If you look on an ingredient deck and it says L-ascorbic acid or L-ascorbic, I think it's L-ascorbic acid is what it normally says. That is actually a lesser type of vitamin C, and it doesn't penetrate the skin, but it's cheaper. So I can't tell you, I've had so many companies approach me and say, oh, would you promote my, you know, this and that? And then I'll go and I'll read the ingredient deck and I cross my fingers. I'm like, please, 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 please have an ingredient deck that's worthy. And of course it hardly ever is, because they say they say high volume, high quantities of vitamin C. And I look and it's the wrong type of vitamin C. A, B, it's like number 20 down the list. And normally these ingredient decks are 50 ingredients long, which is so diluted. You really want to keep it under 15 ingredients if you can. 15 to 20 should be maximum. And then the type of vitamin C, ascorbic tetraisopalmitate, needs to come within the first 3 to 5. If it doesn't, it's watered down. You're not going to have as concentrated of a product.
And you're wasting your money.
You're wasting your money. Don't go spend the money on it. All right. So quickly, I'm going to run through the one I use because I love it is called Transdermal C Serum. This has 80% vitamin C and it's the right type of vitamin C. This is by far my favorite product. And I've been using this for a couple of years. And mind you, I've been in this industry for a million years. I was a model back when I was a teenager up until my mid-20s in Europe. And I mean, I've used the best skincare you could possibly imagine. Okay. And I use that. And I'm not just selling it. I absolutely was like, holy cow. And I called the owner and I had actually done his makeup. Is how I met him. And I was like, what the heck? You know, and that's when I really dove into this. So I actually really love this product. I would also say, you know, if you have one, look at the ingredients. If you want to buy one, that's your knowledge base in order to do that. I would also say get a good hyaluronic hydrator. This hyaluronic acid is also phenomenal for plumping up your skin, and get a really good moisturizer. I mean, these are all really going to help all of this. I mean, I just use what's called Transdermal C Balm. This is it's a really good moisturizer. I think get one that has a lot of vitamin C in it. The only last thing I'm going to say is for really strengthening your skin is to use retinol or Retin A. Now, Retin A is the prescription of retinol. Retinol is vitamin A. And this is one of the main things you can do to really affect your skin. And it helps to regenerate the surface layer of the skin and help the connective tissue to rebuild itself. So it's an external kind of bone broth type idea. Makes a huge difference. So this is the one I use. This one's a little bit loved. This is 5%. This is really strong. I wouldn't recommend this unless you're really into retinol and you've been using it a long time. I would say get a 1%, but look at your percentages. A lot of these, I've gone into stores and it's like, $100 for this retinol and it's 0.05%, which is ridiculous, right? So really go for a higher one. I would say 1% if you can find it. They are more expensive, but that's what you're really going to notice is really going to help to get the cell turnover on the top layer.
And I would imagine that you test it out first to see how much your skin can tolerate and then maybe build up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, with anything, you try it, you watch your skin. And if you get some redness and some exfoliation, that's great. It's working. And I had one woman call me and go, oh my God, my skin got red. I don't want to use it. I'm allergic. I'm like, no, you're not allergic. It just means it's working, but that means give your skin a break and then try it again.
Right.
So, okay. So quickly.
I will put links to all of these in the post so people can have access to them because I want to check them out too. This is wonderful.
Well, great. Well, I also want people to be educated so that if you don't want to buy this stuff, that's fine. Like you do you, but you do your own research and at least know what you're looking for. And that's why I'm throwing out these percentages, right? So as far as devices, we're going to quickly hit on this. I would say, again, it's causing exfoliation, causing your skin to regenerate. That is the key component, which is where peels, microdermabrasion, microneedling, laser treatments, all of that, you go to an esthetician or a medical doctor, and they can do that for you. And you have to do it consistently. One time you'll see some difference. You need to do it every month. So this is an investment. You can also do home treatments, which is what I have. So I'm licensed, so I could actually get better than this, but this is what I use because it works great. This is a little microdermabrasion device. Comes with a little head. I use this once a month to help slop off the top layer of my skin. This was $200 retail. on, I think it was Derm Store. So this is great, works fabulous. I also recommend buy your own microcurrent device. New Skin makes a great one. This is the one I use, Truth Treatments one. So these help. What it does is it uses microcurrent, gets into the muscles, and it strengthens the muscles in your face. I actually use this. I need to use it more than I do because I'm lazy, but I use it mainly because I'm droop, we droop here. I do it a lot right here and then under here because this is where we all have it. And with consistent use, always this consistent use, you will notice a difference. It probably takes a couple weeks to see it, using it 3 or 4 times a week. But those are home things, and I like that, right? I want to be empowered. I want to like do it myself. I'm the little girl who stomps her foot and says, I'll do it myself.
Right.
So hopefully, Pete, that's given you some guidance on just kind of where to go.
Well, you are a perfect advertisement for what you talk about because you have gorgeous skin, especially if you live in Colorado, because my friends who live there have very dry skin.
Yes. It's a constant battle, and a lot of people don't understand how to kind of go about it with the internal things and the quantities to take with the internal oils, and then to use great products. I mean, that's a lot of it too.
Well, this is exactly what I hoped for and more, because I know that my readers are going to absolutely love this. Suzanne, I cannot thank you enough. I want to watch this again and write down every detail. And I absolutely love the fact that you understand the crucial element, which you got to start from the inside and you got to keep yourself healthy. If anything good came out of COVID, it was a recognition that we have to keep ourselves healthy, even if people just start taking more vitamin D. But I'm going to up my vitamin C now. I know it can give you a little loose bowels sometimes, but again, that's not a terrible thing. And I'm just thrilled with all of this. So Suzanne Blons, the beauty shaman, I am just so delighted to have you, and thank you so much for being on Shopping for the Real You.
Thanks so much for having me.